Hello and welcome to the weekend roundup show of myself, Pippa, Monique and Lewis. How you doing?
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, that's not great, is it?
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 days gone from the West Ham game, so I'm not as angry as I was before, but still, London derbies hurt when you don't win.
We'll get into that, but before we get into the weekend roundup of all the games that happened over the weekend, I just want to say we've just heard the heartbreaking news, shocking news before we went live of Marvin Morgan, ex-professional footballer, entrepreneur, founder of Fresh Ego Kid, has passed away aged 38. Absolutely shocked. I just want to send our condolences to himself, his family, and everyone that knows him. Had a huge impact, everyone in the football industry. I'm sure lots of us have met him, seen how much of a great person he was. So just want to say rest in peace.
Yeah.
His legacy, I'm sure, will definitely live on. What a guy.
Defo.
But let's get into the games. Kicking it off with a team that we don't ever normally kick it off with on this show. Newcastle.
Yeah,
Newcastle 1, Burnley 0.
Yeah, first win of the season. I think it's the latest that has ever come for a Premier League side, at least in the last 10 years. Clean sheet as well.
Yeah, mad.
And suddenly, it actually looks like they have a potential chance of staying up. Now they're only 3 points off 7th. They're only 3 points off 17th.
Okay.
Like, you don't even deep it with the draws and everything, but all they needed was that first win on the board. It can give them even just a glimmer of confidence, and who knows what that will lead to for the rest of the season, because I know a lot of people are saying that Eddie Howe wasn't really the right move and Newcastle just look completely horrendous. And when you haven't won a game for 3.5 months, I completely understand that. But I always said going from Steve Bruce to Eddie Howe is like 2 completely different play styles.
Yeah, definitely.
That's going to take a while to adjust. And to be honest, they're probably still adjusting.
Yeah.
So for me right now, you can't really judge Newcastle until like Eddie Howe's had at least a month or 2 in the role where you can actually look at the squad and instill a style of play on them. Because you can look at Man United, for example. Like, obviously we'll get into it, but Ralph Rangnick has already started getting results out of them and getting a good style of play out of them.
Michael Carrick.
It's a different style. Yeah, Carrick as well. But it's a completely different style of teams. Like there's so much quality in that United side as opposed to Newcastle team.
Yeah.
So for me, like, Newcastle still have a big chance of staying up. The January transfer window is going to be a big example of what they could do as well.
I'm sure all Newcastle fans are looking forward to January. But you mentioned the comparison and Eddie Howe being new, but since Eddie Howe's first game in charge with from Brentford onwards, Newcastle have averaged 15 shots per game, 5 on target, compared with just 11 shots per game and 3 on target prior to his arrival. So
it's already showing the
It's
difference,
already showing
isn't
there's a slight improvement then. It's only been, very
already
short amount of time.
like a little bit from them, but it's still going to be a while to like fully see the style of play on them. But give Newcastle a month or 2 and we'll see what they're made of.
And what a finish from Callum Wilson. I guess you can, I was going to say you can always rely on him if you're going to rely on someone to score, even though it hasn't come very often.
Yeah, everyone's been saying St. Maximin's going to be the one player that drags him through.
Wilson.
But him and Wilson.
Yeah.
But the biggest question is Wilson is, can he stay fit? Because he's been hella injury prone for them, and for when he was back at Bournemouth as well.
But he's got the talent, he can do it.
Yeah, he's got the talent and he's able to get goals if you feed him. It's just the biggest asset you can have is availability.
Yeah,
like, we've seen that with some of our players this season. Like, that's going to be the same thing for Callum Wilson and Newcastle.
For every team though. For every team.
Yeah, but when you're lower down the table, those key players matter so much more. Because you lose one of them, that could potentially be your season done.
Don't forget, January's come in and they've got a whole bank balance full of money to get anyone.
They have, but they're also in this weird grey area where you can't really go for the best, because the best aren't going to come now, especially with Newcastle and the state they're in. They need to have players that are kind of willing to be in the transition and potentially get shipped off once they get to becoming a top 4 side or around the area, which is what they're aiming to be in the next few years.
Maybe they can go for Timo Werner.
Go for it.
Oh, I thought he was going to be upset. I was trying to like banter you.
No. You know what? I'm all for it personally. You want to go for Timo Werner, slap the money on the table, whatever it is, we'll probably accept.
Well, that backfired. I didn't expect that response.
That did not backfire to me personally.
I did not expect that response.
Yeah, no, personally I'm done, but we move.
Wow, we'll get onto that later. But Southampton won, Brighton won.
Yeah.
Did you expect that? I expected Brighton to get a win from this game.
It's more Southampton for me. Like, first off, the Armando Broja strike was brilliant, and I can't wait to see this guy when he comes back to Chelsea, because right now he's kind of looking like the best option for us. Not as opposed to Lukaku, obviously. There's like other issues with the style of play that I'm sure we're going to get into as well. But great finish by Armando Broja for the first goal. But Southampton are in this problem where their game management is just utterly horrendous.
It's very bad.
And I'm seeing from a lot of Southampton fans, they're running out of faith and confidence in Hasenhüttl as well, because he never seems to be able to fix the problems that they're having in match, and he seems to be making the wrong decisions in game, the wrong substitutions, and it's where they continue to drop points, and it's happened in this game again. And it's not really all on Hasenhüttl, because like I think the midfield was just horrendously naive as well, especially towards the last 15 minutes of the game. They kept piling pressure on themselves, and eventually they were going to be made to pay for it. Morpie in the 90th minute, 98th minute or something is utterly horrific in the South
But
Coast
it just adds
derby.
the drama, like it just adds to the excitement for a neutral fan anyway.
It does, like for us, it's beautiful to watch, and I'm a huge fan of shithousery as well, so the celebration was glorious. But for a Southampton fan, it's peak. It's so frustrating. I don't blame them either. I think with Hasenhüttl, like, you can give him a bit of leeway because, again, it's a case of the squad isn't really full of the quality that he would want to be able to instill a style of play.
It's not only that as well. He's like one of the Premier League manager darlings. Like he's one of the managers that fans of other clubs appreciate for what he's done in previous seasons.
It's just because he plays expansive football and all.
Yeah, but he's done well enough in previous seasons. But do you think he could potentially, I know it's a bit soon to say, but we've seen so many movements with managers in roles. Could he be the next one to be chopped?
If this keeps up for Southampton, potentially, because they didn't mind the good football when it was at least keeping them afloat. Yeah. And they're not in the relegation zone right now, I don't think so. But if they continue to play with this poor game management and continue to throw Leeds away, God knows where they're going to be, because this relegation fight's already looking tight. Like I'm looking at the bottom 5, 6, I'm thinking there's at least one team that I wouldn't expect to go down, which probably is going to go down.
Like who? Southampton?
Southampton, I mean, if Everton keep this up, it could be them as well. Burnley, who always seem to stay up every year, look like it might be them. The only guarantee for me is that Norwich is going down. Yeah, pretty much. Imagine they turn it around, a shocker, come February, they go on a mad run. Doubt it, but you never know. With this Premier League season, I actually wouldn't be too surprised.
No, I can't imagine
you
it
can't
happening.
throw anything away because it is so tight. The bottom four is only separated by, I think, 3 points.
Yeah, it's mad. But speaking on points, Southampton have dropped 71 points from winning points in the Premier League since Ralph Hasenhüttl's first game in charge in December 2018. You just said the game management.
Horrendous.
71 points.
They keep
since 2018, 15 more than any other side.
That's the most depressing thing if you're a Southampton fan, because you get the lead and now you're worried if you're even going to maintain it, because they've dropped it so many times. And this is where it turns to the manager, because you can look at the players, but if you're continuously making the same mistakes, continuously making individual errors, and you're continuously dropping points, then it turns to the manager, because he should be able to stop that. Even if it's at the detriment of the football and it doesn't look as pretty as you want it to be, it's about the results. Football's a results game, whether you like it or not.
It's not just Southampton though. Brighton, I think it's 10 winless games now. There was a booze in the stand.
Yeah, but with Brighton, they need to learn their place, if I'm being honest. We were speaking about this on the Saturday football show. Like, you can complain about the football and everything. Brighton's higher than they've ever been under Graham Potter. Yeah, they haven't really won a lot of games, but I can get being annoyed by that. But booing, really, when you're in a stable position?
I was surprised about the booing. I can understand. People are saying they're too entitled and they're getting ahead of themselves. But as a football fan, when you see your club doing well, for a long period of time, like they were third at one point.
The difference between Potter and Hasenhüttl is the game management, and Potter also plays better football. It's just another case of he doesn't really have the tools that he wants. Like Brighton isn't exactly the best team that you want to be playing that sort of football with, but he's still getting a good tune out of them.
Yeah, so the boos were very surprising.
Boos were ridiculous. Like if they were in the relegation zone, fair enough, but they're not. You're 10th. Yeah. You're Brighton and you're 10th. Like, come on. Like, a bit of sanity, please.
I would love to know where Brighton fans expect themselves to finish this season. It looks like they're top 4, top 6, it sounds like, by the sounds of those boos.
Those are some really high expectations for Brighton Football Club, I'm being honest. I think they expect to be in the position that they are right now, which makes it, again, more baffling. Why are you acting like this when you're 10th?
I can understand it at some point, though, because they've done well. They've got good players. They've got good enough players that other teams want. Arsenal were looking at some of their players. Arsenal took one of their players. There's other teams that want the players in their squad. So they know they've got good enough players to compete for at least a top 6 position. But
I think it's more the football's just gassed them a little bit.
Yeah, you cannot boo Potter for
not in this position.
10. They're winless in 10 Premier League games now. So they've drawn 8 and lost 2.
They've drawn 8 games.
Yeah, that's the annoying. I think that's the frustrating thing.
No, but here's the thing. No, but I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, okay, they've lost 2. For Brighton Football Club, they've lost 2 in 10.
Yeah, but drawing 8 is frustrating.
A lot of
even the draw against Arsenal, I'm pretty sure Brighton would have been furious with that because they definitely should have won that game.
I'm sure a lot of that's been coming from behind and getting draws though. Like I know it was in the last game against West Ham. there's the Southampton game as well. I can't really look back at all of Brighton's results, but a lot of them look like they've been coming back. They've been called draw merchants, and fair enough if you don't like draws and everything.
I can't stand them.
It's keeping you stable. Like, they're not losing games, and they're still not a mid-table side yet.
Yeah.
Right now, they're just in a mid-table position, which is higher than Brighton's ever been.
Fair enough.
So right now, I'd say just take it.
Just take it. Just take it.
Literally take it. Like, I don't know what they're moaning about right now.
Well, another team that's taken something, luckily, managed to take 3 points, thanks to the man who, I mean, he hasn't had the most glamorous career, but in 10, 15, 20, 30 years' time, you're going to mention this name and just know that he scored some of the most important goals for his club. Who am I talking about?
You're talking about Origi.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, great.
He may not have scored a lot of goals, but you definitely remember which goals he scored and which games they were in.
I literally decides to turn into R9 whenever he wants. I can't be bothered.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So Wolverhampton 0, Liverpool 1. I don't understand how it took Liverpool so long to break down Wolves to even get a result. I'm
literally getting numb, like flashbacks to the 3 p.m. show. If you guys watched it, you know how muddled I was at that point. We were sitting there, right? And like, it was after the Chelsea West Ham game, so I spent most of the stream literally just recovering from it. Yep, literally, like, I only cracked a smile at like the 90th minute when I thought Wolves might hold on. Yeah. And as soon as I said, let's just check on the Wolves game, as soon as I finished the sentence, Origi scored and it popped up on the screen. Worst timing in the world, but like for Origi, it's the best timing in the world. And Liverpool are known for that as well. You can't really write them off until the 90th minute. When they won the league, it was off a string of 90th minute winners. That's what Liverpool Football Club's about. They struggled against Wolves. Wolves were a very hard team to break down. The Jota miss was funny, I can't lie. It's a horrendous miss, possibly the miss of the season. But Origi popped up out of nowhere. Salah, who didn't do much for the entire game, popped up with an assist at the vital point. That's what you want your players to do. And sadly to say, it's the stuff of champions, isn't it?
It is.
So,
stuff of champions. Are you saying that they're going to be the ones to lift the trophy end of the season? It's not Chelsea no more, no?
No, I just said it's always been tight between the three of us.
Yeah.
Like, I think out of Chelsea, City and Liverpool, whatever order you want, that's your top three.
Yeah, definitely, I agree.
And I will say as well, my confidence has drained a lot since the last 3 games of the Ben Chilwell injury, so this is what it is.
Before we continue that, let me just read this super chat from Fletcher. He said, as an Everton fan, I'm truly worried. Injuries have been a killer for us this year. My club is a shambles, 5 points above relegation, not good enough. You mentioned that earlier. Don't think Everton will get relegated though. Hang in there. Hang on in there.
I don't know what it's going to take for Everton.
That's me, don't worry.
I thought that was me for a second, sorry. But yeah, I don't know what it's going to take for Everton, because the board, there's problems with the board. The fan base has had enough and they're basically rioting over results. Players don't look like they care. And the manager's been stuck with dealing with all of it. And partly it is his fault because the football is still horrendous and he's not getting results. But it's such a hard job to get a success in. Like, I think if they sack Benitez, I don't even know if the next manager does it.
Lewis, hold on. We're going to get to Everton.
Oh, sure, I'm already on there.
No, don't worry. We have to talk about Liverpool and Wolves.
Do we have to?
I know it hurts you, but I'll read a couple stats if it makes you feel better.
Let's go.
So Origi's strike was Liverpool's 39th winning goal scored in 90 plus minutes in the Premier League, at least 13 more than any other side have ever done.
Sounds about right.
Liverpool has scored in each of their last 25 Premier League games since a 1-0 loss against Fulham in March. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I've also said as well, I think this is the best attacking Liverpool side I've seen.
I actually enjoy watching them play.
Yeah. Yeah,
I have to
as a neutral, I'll say, yeah. Like, when I actually care about the results, hell no. But they get goals from everywhere. Trent is literally dictating games on the right-hand side of the pitch. And the biggest thing for them too now is they're getting goals from midfield too. Henderson's popping up with goals. Thiago's popping up as well. Start the season,
and the goals that they're scoring are just
great finishes.
Those are the ones that you see in them. What's some things you see on YouTube? Compilations. They're the goals that you see, like, best goals of 2021.
Yeah, like, I think the motivation's definitely come back with Liverpool now, because obviously last season they had their injuries, but I also did think it was a case of they've won the Champions League, they've won the Premier League, the motivation's just dropped a little bit from them.
But they're still up there competing.
Now they are, because I think now that they've dropped the league title, and now that they've had a poor season, they need that bit of redemption.
That winning feeling back.
Yeah, and you can see it now, because last season their conversion rate was horrendous. I know, Chelsea fan talking about conversion rate, but conversion rate was poor. This season, they're making chances, they're taking a lot of their chances as well. They're scoring from all areas of the pitch. Like, they're doing everything they need to do from an attacking perspective. Definitely.
And Mo Salah has either scored or assisted a goal in each of his last 13 appearances in the Premier League. That tops the charts for both goals, 13 and assists, 9 in the competition so far for him. And Origi, one more thing on Origi, because I know you love to hear about him. That was his 10th goal as a substitute in the Premier League for Liverpool. No other player has netted more from the bench for the club in this competition.
It's one of the best super subs you got, isn't it?
He literally is the best super sub.
Yeah, and so another thing for all those Liverpool fans who are saying get rid of him for the last 18 months.
Yeah,
Because I know they've changed their tune. I think because of the injuries and everything, they had to start playing Origi a lot more. And I think he's one of those players that isn't a great starter, but is just amazing when you bring him off the bench. Like, we got Ross Barkley, and that's the exact same thing I say about him. So it's the same for just some players. They're better as impact subs.
Okay. Let's see if there's any comments about Origi. Oh, no, there's not. But Yash says Liverpool won't have Keita, Salah, Mane and Matip. And he's talking about for the AFCON in January. Yeah,
but I swear they're only going to be out for 2 games. So it's
two games is a lot. That's 6 points potentially.
I know, and I'd be happy with it as a rival fan if it weren't for the fact that we wouldn't have Mendy. So, like, we're still in the mud.
Yeah, that's true. And
but
someone did say that. Someone did say that as well, that you're going to be in the mud without Mendy.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to deal with...
Who is your backup goalkeeper again?
Kepa.
Oh, yeah, of course. And Balaga.
And his confidence is
still good.
His confidence is a lot better than it was in previous seasons, but he's still prone to long shots. We're still going to be a lot weaker on corners without Mendy. And I just need to see what he's like with dealing at his far post, because he hasn't really been tested that much. We've only played him like the odd Carabao Cup game here and there. And plus, we're also going to be playing the likes of Spurs, Liverpool, Man City in January, where Mendy's gone.
Mm-hmm. Big games.
So I've got to wait and see with Kepa. Do we get 18-19 Kepa? Do we get 19-20 Kepa? We have to wait and see.
Just confirmation for Liverpool fans there that you probably already know that Matip has retired from international football. Box of Oranges has just confirmed that for us. Matip doesn't play for Cameroon anymore. So don't worry. Just Salah and Keita.
Yeah, just Salah, Keita, Mane as well.
Mane, of course, yeah.
But who's that leaving the front three? So it would be Jota, Firmino and...
Top players.
I'm struggling to figure out who would be on the right-hand side. Yeah, Origi plays right wing sometimes, doesn't he? Yeah, sorted. 2 games, they'll cope with that. They'll be fine.
There you go. There you go. Right, moving on to the next game, shall we? Or should we mention Wolves? Any word for Wolves there? They've done well to keep Liverpool at bay for that long.
They've been really tough to break down under Bruno Lage. Very unlucky with the last-minute goal. Just a shame, really, but they're doing well this season, so you can't really say too much about them.
Watford 1, Man City 3. Now, we've seen some tweets. I don't know, I've seen some, I don't know if you've, but there's a huge argument, huge contest that arguably Bernardo Silva is the best player in the Premier League. Now, of course, we were just speaking about Liverpool. A lot of people would say it's actually Mo Salah. Where do you stand on this? Because I love Bernardo Silva. As you guys know, I've named my car after him.
Right now, they're both the 2 best players in the league right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, other than Christensen, of course, but best 2 players in the league.
Wait, what? Sorry? We're not going to fly past that. What do you mean?
What? Christensen, the Danish Maldini, got the minerals.
So what, you're saying he's top 3?
In 54 games.
So you're saying he's top 3?
Yeah.
Can we have a serious conversation, please?
Well, I'll say top 4 centre-backs in the league.
Okay, yeah, if you put centre-backs, definitely.
And he's not 4th, but we move.
Yeah, that's fine, I'll take that, but top 3?
But yeah, now on a serious note, because that was a joke that got taken too seriously. Bernardo Silva, Mo Salah, 2 of the best players in the league right now. And, like, I was so surprised to even see Bernardo Silva getting put on the transfer list for 40 million. And it's even more surprising no one took him up on that deal as well.
No, I wanted him.
But I feel like that's lit a fire up his arse, personally. Because he's come out and he's even performed better than his levels at 18-19.
Yep.
But in spite of all of that, it has to be Mo Salah. Like, Bernardo Silva's been amazing this season, but Mo Salah's upped his levels to a crazy standard. Like, now it's not even just goal scoring, it's playmaking as well. And he's been behind everything for Liverpool this season. Bernardo Silva has been excellent, but I wouldn't say he's been behind everything. It's still been more of a team thing with him.
Yeah.
Mo Salah's been the driving force behind Liverpool.
Yeah.
So, for me, that kind of just edges him. But it's so hard to tell between both of them because they're amazing individually. They bring the best out of the players around them too. It's tight. Like, I wouldn't blame a Man City fan for saying Bernardo Silva would be better than Mo Salah. Personally, I think Salah just edges it. Well,
I think Yash sums it up perfectly. Some may disagree, but he says Bernardo is the best midfielder in the Premier League and Salah is the best forward.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to look at it. Yeah, because they both play in different positions as well.
There.
And it keeps everybody happy, so it doesn't stop any wars in the comment section.
Yeah. I do love both of them, proper top players. But let's get into that game. Raheem Sterling on the score sheet as well as Bernardo Silva. Man City are now unbeaten across their last 19 meetings with Watford in all competitions. 117, drawn 2, netting 62 goals.
I didn't even have any hope for us in the Watford City game. I knew they were getting pammed. It was
Did you
just
think they would score though?
score.
I didn't think they would score.
Who, Watford?
Yeah.
Scored against us. I mean, one goal doesn't really mean that much in the grand scheme of things. Like, City's defence is solid, but it can also be broken a little bit, so it doesn't really mean too much in the grand scheme of things. But Man City were all over Watford, same way they always are. Bernardo Silva ripped them apart. Raheem Sterling as well. He's starting to get on the score sheet a lot more for them this season.
Yeah.
And this is the thing with City, like, everyone said they were starting the league slowly. I don't really worry too much. But this is the thing.
You can't sleep on them.
But that's the thing, like it was the same as last season. They started slowly then too. There was a good period in the first half of the season where I think they were 9th.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they go to the top of the league,
that's it.
They don't drop.
Catching them.
They don't drop. I think they went on a 20-game winning run that started in like November or something. So like any slow start from Man City, really, it doesn't mean anything. It all depends on what they do in the midpoint of the season. And now they're just racking up points. Yeah, they don't have a striker and everything like that, but
their
chance creation is ridiculous, and also the quality of chances. And there's a huge difference between chance creation and the quality of the chances. They create chances that are so good, it's in positions where players are less likely to miss. Yeah. Which is exactly why they thrive every season. And that's why Man City is so hard to beat.
Yeah. They definitely are. I remember beginning of the season, let's not discuss that one. Watford have failed to keep a clean sheet in any of their last 25 Premier League matches, the longest run of any side in the competition since Burnley's 29-game run between November 2009 and August 2014. So that is a horrible stat.
Yeah, it just sounds about Watford, really. This is what it is. But like Ranieri's getting a better job out of them right now. They're still getting.
I'm not seeing it.
Here's the thing, like,
I know it's early days, but still.
That's the thing, and you do have to take into account Watford do have a lot of injuries. Like when we played them on Wednesday, I think they had 9 first-team players out, and they still gave us the run around for 90 minutes. I thought they were the better team personally out of the two of us. So Ranieri is definitely getting something out of them, especially seeing as half of it is their B team. It's another case of I wouldn't really judge them right now, but they're still getting results. Like they played us off of the park. I remember them battering Everton 5-2 a few weeks back. So they're not completely in the mud or anything. It's just going to be a very tight relegation battle.
I see. Well, Leeds 2, Brentford 2. Nice little draw there.
Yeah,
I couldn't pick a winner for that game if I was to predict it. So I guess that score kind of sums up the two teams at the moment.
Yeah, Bamford coming back from injury, wasn't it? Yeah, I think that's going to be what's the difference maker for Leeds, because they've really struggled with goals and getting points on the board this season. And people have been looking at Bielsa. I don't really think it's Bielsa. I think it's like a sprinkle of second season syndrome, but it's nothing too deep. It's not like a Sheffield United or anything like that. It's just they're not going to hit the heights that they did last season, especially without Patrick Bamford, because he was so influential, the amount of goals that he got for them. You got a newly promoted side and a striker
that swapped sides with them, really.
What?
Like, I feel like Brentford has swapped sides with Leeds, because Leeds hit those heights in their first season back in the league.
Yeah, and Brentford are the team now doing it. I hear you on that, but that's what a big striker does for you. They've got Ivan Toney. Patrick Bamford was their striker. Yeah, he did miss a few chances for them, but he got 18 goals in the league for them last season. For a newly promoted side, that means so much to them. And I think they're going to start to notice that in the next few weeks and as they continue to climb up the table. So if I was a Leeds fan, I wouldn't be that worried. I think all they needed was a striker to come back and just in time for Chelsea next week. Great, but
I think it's harsh to say that, because if I was a Leeds fan, I would be worried, because when you've hit there, it may not be where you expected to hit last season, but once you've been there, anything lower than your expectations is going to hurt, and you're going to think, we're a newly promoted team almost 2 years now.
But what was the expectations for them this season?
Surely it's to still hit where they hit last season, not to drop. Because you think if you could do it last season with just about the same amount of players, same manager, why?
Did they finish 10th last season, right?
That's massive.
No, I get that, but like the bottom 10 is so tight right now. So it's a point where about 6 points is the difference, maybe. I'm roughly off the top of my head, 6 to 9 points. That's what 3 wins, and then they're back in the position they were at before. They've done a pretty good job without a striker, if I'm thinking about it.
To be fair.
With Patrick Bamford right now and the amount of goals they'll inject into that side, I'd be confident. Like as long as he stays fit, they should be fine. Like they're definitely not going down or anything, for one. And especially with the start of the season they have, if they don't go down, I think they'll be happy with the season.
Yeah. Fair enough. You're actually saying Leeds can't defend, that's why. Carlton saying, respect to this Chelsea fan, so smart and intelligent. Is that your mate?
I'm getting positive comments here.
Is that?
Hey, fair play. I barely get good comments on here. Usually the most hated, but it is what it is.
No, definitely not. Mark saying we need to get Ivan Toney for our striker. Oh, he's an Arsenal fan. Whilst Chelsea saved tens of points with Mendy, he actually also cost them 3 points yesterday. I'm sick of this FIFA generation. Wait, we're not on to Chelsea yet. Let's move on. Should we move on quickly?
Yeah, let's go.
Man United.
Great.
Got a win against Crystal Palace at home at Old Trafford.
Ragnick's already doing the job for them. But then again, like, all they needed was basic tactics, because Ollie wasn't even giving them that towards the final few weeks. They look like more of a team. He's getting the best out of players that look like absolute frauds under Ollie, like Diego Dalot, for example. He was moving like a training cone the last 4 months, and now he's been excellent for them against Crystal Palace. Lindelof as well, he's been excellent for them too. Fred, all players that struggled under Ollie, and now they're looking a lot better. And it's only game one. Like, it's tough even to say it, but it's just shades of Tuchel. Because I remember watching Tuchel in he's the one that trained Tuchel, isn't he? And I remember the first game we had against Wolves when we drew 0-0, and it was just a 0-0 draw. But I was just sitting there in the first 30 minutes, I was like, no way we're pressing like this, or we're moving the ball like this. I never saw this under Frank Lampard. And that was just enough for me at the start. And Ragnick's having the same tune of Manchester United. Like, it took a late screamer from Fred to get a result against them, but even if they drew 0-0, I think they would have been happy with the football that they were playing. It's all about small steps for Man United. I said the whole time this season that I don't rate Manchester United and I don't back them in any game while Ollie's manager, because it's a false image for me. And they're going to struggle through games because they don't have any patterns of play, they don't have a style of play, they don't have any team plans. Ralph Ragnick's going to put that straight into that squad. So United are going to look dangerous, especially with the run of fixtures that they have now too, which is
And that's the thing, I think that's what they needed, because they always look dangerous with the squad that they have. And now,
no, they always threaten to be dangerous. I think that's the only real difference.
But the style of play was just non-existent.
No style of play.
Andrew says, I was so happy when Man took over my club. I saw a style of play in one game, then in 3 years under Ollie. Facts.
That is night and day the difference. Like, you can have as good of a team as you want. If the coach isn't there, the players are not going to perform. Or if they're going to perform, it's going to be individual brilliance. There's not going to be any consistency with that side. Ralph Ragnick is going to bring consistency to Man United, which I hate to say, but I gotta be neutral and honest in it, so that's what he's gonna do.
Painful to be neutral, but you have to do it. Zombie said apparently they trained for only 45 minutes on the pitch. All this was just training the brain. No idea what he's talking about, but it could be about Man United.
45 minutes of training with Ragnick is probably better than a month under Ollie, isn't it? He is that good. He is that good. And
Mark is saying Man United have an unbelievable team. They just needed a proper structure with a proper coach, easily a top four and possibly a title challenging team. There's still enough time to do it. There's still more than enough time for them to get back into where everyone expected them to be.
They're not that far off top four. And again, it's early in the season. Like, we're not at the halfway point, so nothing's set in stone right now. Everything's up for grabs. The title's up for grabs, top four's up for grabs. Relegation zone, everything. Everything is tight right now. So for Man United, I won't say sky's the limit because I don't see them winning the league title, but I now think they'll comfortably get in top four. I think the top four is just locked off at this point.
What? So you're saying Liverpool, Chelsea, City, United?
I'd be really surprised if any other team breaks it. Maybe Tottenham, maybe, but that's it. I don't think anyone else does.
Do you know who else could break it?
Who?
The team we're going to talk about next. Westham Chelsea. West Ham 3, Chelsea 2. Why not? Why not West Ham? They've been floating around. They've been in there for the last couple of weeks, and they beat Chelsea, who are title contenders.
Yeah, they also beat Liverpool, who are title contenders.
Did they beat
Can we talk
United?
about that? No, they didn't beat United.
No, I'm sure they did.
No, Jesse Lingard winner.
Oh no, it was City they beat in the Carabao Cup or something like that.
Yeah, they beat City in the Cup, beat Liverpool and beat us. I hate going to the London Stadium. Absolutely despise it, which is why I'm also glad I sold my ticket for that. But I think our problem was, and we were speaking about it before the stream, and ever since we've lost Ben Chilwell, we've lost a lot of fluidity in our build-up play. And I say that saying Marcus Alonso wasn't one of the main reasons why we lost yesterday either. It's just our other biggest problem is that Romelu Lukaku hasn't fitted in with the rest of our attack well enough. And I personally think it's because we brought him in too late. He was only signed 2 days before the start of the season. So he's there physically, but in terms of tactically, not all there just yet. And because now we've lost Ben Chilwell
Yeah.
and we've lost a lot of our play from the wing-back positions, which was where we were thriving when we had both Chilwell and James running down the flanks, now we can't really accommodate for the fact that in the middle, if we play Lukaku by himself, our build-up play drops. First half we were good. I thought like our play was nice. We dominated well, I won't say we dominated. It was a very even game, but quality was showing on Chelsea's side. We were 2-1 up. We were cruising. Kai Havertz comes off injured.
Cruising.
We were cruising after the second goal. But Kai Havertz comes off injured. We lose all of our movement in the attacking third. We bring on Lukaku. Our attacking play dies out. Jared Bowen, who was just running Rudiger ragged for 90 minutes, had a beautiful goal to make it 2-2. And there's just that jammy cross from Masuaku to make it. It's the most West Ham
That's
goal.
another super sub there. Because I think he came on for Ben Johnson. I wasn't watching the game. I was literally.
Yeah, he was definitely came on. I don't remember who for.
I think it was for Johnson, and I remember thinking, how comes he come off so soon? I think it was like first half still, or 40 minutes, something like that. But what a sub that is, because you don't expect Arthur to put in a ball like that. I mean, he has.
It was a quality
Arthur
cross though. Like it's the Zappa Costa goal against Karabag all over again. Like, I can't be bothered for it. It's the most West Ham goal going, but. It is what it is, isn't it?
You've seen a different side to Lewis now. You saw him being the impartial guy, giving great assessments.
It was not
and
a
now
shot.
we're talking about Chelsea.
It was not a shot. I'm not hearing it was a cross. It was a cross. It was a horrendous cross. And I think the only thing that saved him was that Mendy was expecting it to be a lot more central and then just curved into the top left corner. Is what it is. Mendy's worst game in a Chelsea shirt, but he's been so good for us ever since he's joined.
You can't really get onto him.
I don't care. Like, if this is where you're going to have your howler, if that's the only howler you're going to have, whatever. Just get out your system and move. I don't care.
Well, West Ham have won 4 of their last 7 home Premier League matches against Chelsea. They've drawn 1, lost 2, after having won just 1 of their previous 9 on home soil against the Blues, drawing 1, losing 7. Now, this was Chelsea's first Premier League defeat after leading at half-time since December 2018 against Wolves under Maurizio Sarri. Remember that?
It's been that long?
Yeah. No, after you were leading at half-time.
Yeah, no, I'm just surprised by that.
They
Even
had them
through the
beaten
whole Lampard era, ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that, actually.
Yeah, whatever. I'm happy with that. I'll take it.
Chelsea also made 4 more changes to their starting 11 for this match, bringing their total to 54 after 15 Premier League matches this season. Only Man United in the 2001-02 season that have ever made more at this stage of a Premier League campaign with 65. Probably don't care about that stat, do you?
Shows our depth, really. But the one place where we don't have depth is in the left side, and that's the one place where we had to get a serious injury. So
yeah, but speaking of the right side, can't forget the right side. Reece James has made his 50th Premier League start in this match, aged 21 years of age and 361 days, so almost 22. He was the youngest Englishman to reach 50 starts for Chelsea since John Terry in April 2002 when he was 21 years old and 124 days. That's a good stat.
Yeah, Reece James has probably been our player of the season so far.
Good.
And he's going to have...
his foot is ridiculous. The goals he scored, by the way, whew, ridiculous.
Yeah, he's shown his quality in the attacking third as well, which we didn't see a lot of towards the back end of last season. Like, he had the injury, came back a bit too early. Like, I remember Lampard forcing him into the loss at the Emirates in Boxing Day, and his form just fell off a cliff ever since then. Didn't really start doing much in the attacking third. He was passing sideways a lot, but he's got a lot more confidence since we've come into this season.
Yeah.
Started raking in goals and assists, but I also think it's going to get a bit harder for him now with Ben Chilwell out, because teams can now afford to double up on Reece James, because that's where most of our play is going to come from, which means now he's going to have a lot of work to deal with in terms of being able to have a better output. But I'm confident in him. He's got quality on the ball. He can still create magic out of nowhere. It's just going to be tougher for him, but it's going to be tougher for the whole Chelsea squad as a whole now. Yeah.
So James was a striker. Reece James was a striker before. Back in his day, someone's saying Reece James was a striker, so it makes sense. He probably played striker under 12s, under 15s.
Yeah, maybe. I can't guarantee that. I don't really know for sure. I know he played DM for a little bit for Wigan when we sent him on loan there. Oh, yeah. But yeah, if that's true, then today sense. I learnt, innit? Me too. I learnt something new. Thank you, voice of the villains, if you're telling the truth. Edith Via saying Reece and Mount. Now, one more comment. Reece and Mount are generational talents. There you go. Yeah, cool. We'll leave on that. That's a high.
Okay, Tottenham Hotspur 3, Norwich City 0. Tottenham fans are delighted, of course, with that big win under Conte. They're calling themselves 3-point collectors, I've seen on social media, it's Norwich City. No offence, Norwich, but you know, it's Norwich City.
I'm not surprised by that. But that's the thing, like, it is Norwich, but I also feel like this is a sort of game where under Nuno they draw 0-0 and have like 0 shots on target. So there's small progress there.
Yeah, I guess.
Lucas' goal
wins.
was ridiculous. Like, I have to give credit to him for that one. That was a great strike. But they just did the job that they were meant to do, and I think the confidence and the mood is growing at White Hart Lane. Conte's getting a tune out of the squad and he's picking the team that he wants as well. You have to see how they perform against stronger opposition, but you can't really say anything about doing the job they expected of them. They face Norwich, they get a result that they expect to have against a squad like Norwich. They're starting to get results in now. The only place they're really struggling in is the Conference League, but in the Premier League, they're doing their job.
You know what? If I'm honest with you, I haven't watched not one game in that league.
No, you think I'm even wasting a second
Have
on
you?
that league? Hell no.
I'll be honest with you
I check
guys,
the
I
goal
haven't.
highlights when I hear Spurs are conceding, and that's it.
Yeah. I get the highlights, and the notifications if goals, and I'm like, okay.
In fact, I'm more interested in Roma, to be honest, just see how Tammy's doing, but it is what it is.
So Norwich have lost 12 of their last 13 Premier League games in London, conceding 29 goals and scoring just 3. That is horrible. But it shows where they are. It shows exactly where they are on the table.
If there's one team that I think a lot of people are confident that are going down, is Norwich.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that as a disrespect. It's just...
I don't think they mind too much.
Yeah, I think they've accepted it because... Like, I hate to say it, but they are a bit of a yo-yo club.
Yeah, they are.
They're one of the clubs
definitely
that's too good for the Championship, not good enough for the Premier League. And it was partly Farke's style of play because they play a very attacking brand of football with a squad that just isn't good enough to do it in the Premier League, which is why they're also everyone's darlings. Like, everyone loves Norwich because they play attacking football. It was the same thing we were seeing last time they were in there. Yeah. Everyone was praising Farke and the football Norwich City play and how expansive it is, and when they were getting results against the likes of Leicester City and Man City. But it doesn't take them far. No. Like, I get everyone wanting good football, but I've always said results matter first. I don't care if the football's horrendous. If it gets you results, go for it. Like
you mentioned, they're so like middle, like they're not good enough for Premier League and too good for Championship. I wish they could just like at least win a cup or something. Like, they deserve something at least.
Or do they even have the quality to win a cup?
Not at this point of the season, but at some point in the next 4 to 5 years,
I think if they're lucky,
they
could scrape a semi.
Yeah, even that, just an occasion for Norwich fans to go Wembley, like
they ain't got the quality.
Something.
For me, their best player is Gilmour, and he's on loan from us.
What about Cantwell?
I've forgot Cantwell even existed this season. I can't
It's true.
lie.
I think I've seen it. I think he played against us, but I've hardly seen it, to be fair.
You think he played against you?
No, I'm sure he came on. Yeah, I don't remember, to be fair.
This is my proof.
So Tottenham are unbeaten in 9 Premier League home games against newly promoted sides, winning 7, drawing 2, keeping a clean sheet in each of the last 4 against such opposition on home ground. And Antonio Conte has become the 3rd Tottenham manager to win his first 3 Premier League home games after Ryan Mason and Harry Redknapp. Remember Ryan Mason, interim?
Yeah, what a great group to be in, isn't it?
I swear he was in the final for them. That was recently, isn't it?
Yeah, but like not by ability. He just got plopped in the spot and just said, there you go, try and do better than Jose would do. And the stats were horrific, but scraped the 1-0 loss. So Tottenham will be happy with that, I guess.
Yeah. Aston Villa 2, Leicester City 1.
Yeah, Leicester City have fallen off a cliff this season.
Yeah, I thought he was going to say this game. I feel like this season's been horrible for them.
Season has been horrific. And personally, I'm looking at the manager because it's the same issues with them. Style of play is just non-existent. The corners, these lot are so bad from set pieces. They concede one basically every game at this point. Like I was chatting to my mate Neil about it on our Premier League show, and it's just he says the same things every week. And I remember we played Leicester City a few weeks ago and we beat them 3-0. And I think it's the worst team I've seen Chelsea play this season. They were just so bad in all aspects. No patterns of play, poor from set pieces, poor attacking set pieces, poor in transition. And even after the second goal, I didn't really see much from Leicester City. It was just Aston Villa hitting them on the break a lot, and they could have got more goals. Like, Leicester City have been horrific this season, and for me, it all points to the manager because it's the same mistakes. And when it is the same mistakes, you can't look at the players, because these are also the players that have threatened to break into the top 4 the last 2 years. Yeah. And they had a good transfer window. Like, they got Patson Daka in, they got good depth in Vestergaard and Ryan Bertrand. Like, they're not going to be players that are going to start, but you want depth to pad out the squad, because that was what their problem was the last few years. And they've now got worse. And it looks like it's just the same old cycle with Brendan Rodgers when he's at a Premier League club. So,
and of course, Jamie Vardy's not going to be there for much longer because he's, I'm sure, well, not the oldest, but one of the oldest in the league.
He is, but for some reason, he's still firing goals at this age. Like, it's ridiculous. But
and if Ronaldo and Ibrahimovic can do it, why not?
Exactly.
Why not?
But the manager's the problem for me. I think once they get rid of Brendan Rodgers and they bring a fresh face in, I think you start seeing the old Leicester City pop up again.
Yeah. A super chat here, so unrelated, but from Khalid says, Pippa, you look amazing. Going on a date with Ty? Yeah, I'm meeting him at Goodison Park. Yash says, UCL, I'd have Liverpool, Bayern, City, Chelsea, United, Real Madrid, PSG in that order, and also City winning the league. Well, it's not Champions League yet. We're going to talk about Aston Villa a little bit.
I didn't even catch that order, but we can come back to it.
I said it too fast, didn't I?
Yes, it's cool.
It was too many teams in there, that's why. Leicester City lost an away Premier League game in which they scored first for the first time since July 2020 against Bournemouth. Before today, they had won 11 of their last 12 league matches away from the King Power Stadium when opening the scoring. So, it's a full grace.
Yeah, like, I don't think it means too much in the grand scheme of things, because maybe their away form has been better than their home form, but their overall form this season has just been poor. I don't think it takes anything away from that. But
it takes it away a little bit, but you cannot take away from Stevie G. I mean, having only won 3 of their first 11 Premier League games of the season under Dean Smith, Aston Villa has since won 3 of their first 4 under Steven Gerrard, only losing 1.
Yeah,
so
Gerrard's
Stevie G stepped
excellent.
in and tightened them up a bit.
Yeah, Gerrard's looked excellent under Aston Villa. I can't lie, I haven't seen enough of Aston Villa's football to really pinpoint what their style of play is, but he's been getting good results. The Villa fans seem happy with the football that they're playing. They seem very confident. The mood's raised a lot more than what it was like under the last few weeks under Dean Smith. I think they lost like 5 games in a row under him. Now they've gone to 4 wins out of... Is it 3 wins out of 4? 4 wins out of 5? Yeah, 4 wins out of 5 under Steven Gerrard. So it's been an amazing start under him. Do you want to see what it's like after 20 games? Because the one thing I always say about these teams, I want to see how they react to a bad run of form. Also, why I'm interested in Chelsea now, because it's the first bad run of form I've seen under Tuchel. But under Gerrard...
And it hasn't even been that bad. It's not even that bad. Gosh, Chelsea fans are so spoiled.
Yeah, you know what? We'll call it standards, innit?
Yeah, the standards have dropped a little bit. That's it.
Yeah, like the last 3 games have been utterly horrendous. But on Aston Villa, like they've been amazing the last few weeks. They're going to Anfield as well in a few weeks' time, which is going to be very interesting.
It'll be loud. There'll be a huge reception for Steven Gerrard. Yeah. It'll be louder than usual, I reckon.
Yeah, I think the Liverpool fans will forget what team they're supporting for 90 minutes. But
no, I doubt it.
It'll be interesting. It will be very interesting. I want to see where Aston Villa end up this season, because they have the quality to be a top 7 side. More than enough quality. And they've handled the Jack Grealish departure really well. It's just been about consistency. And we got to wait and see if Gerrard can bring that consistency. But he started very well for them.
Definitely. Now, there's one more game we haven't mentioned because it hasn't been played yet. Tonight, Everton v Arsenal. Prediction.
It just sounds like a horrific game of football.
What? Monday Night Football is nothing better.
Arteta v Benitez.
2 of the greatest managers in the league. No,
say it with a straight face. Right, yeah. Everton v Arsenal. You guys should win it.
I should hope so.
Yeah, I don't think you guys will struggle too much. I don't think it will be a 4-1 like the Liverpool game. I think it will be a little bit tighter, but I expect you to have the edge on Benitez and Everton's football, because they're a mess from top to bottom right now. And I think the mood around Goodison Park is going to be toxic as hell. You guys are going into the perfect environment to go and get a result in. And I don't think you guys drop it either, because I've said it's a different Arsenal side now. You guys don't have European football. You guys have a lot more rest. You guys can play with a much stronger tempo. And you guys have been showing it on the pitch. You've been winning the games that you're expected to win. The only losses that you've had are against the teams that I think you've expected to lose to. So I kind of expect the same thing in this game. I think 2-0.
Some predictions are coming in. So Mark's going Arsenal 2, Everton 0, same as you. Mini Toon fan saying 3-0 Everton. Mario saying Arsenal 0, Everton 4. What? What is
that? They don't rate you lot. They really don't rate you lot.
Like, our defence is not that bad at all. Our defence is actually quite decent.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why you think
your
it'll be 4-0.
defence has got a lot better this season, and also Ramsdale is saving you points every single game. You can't discredit him either.
Wow, the comments. Arsenal will get clapped. Arsenal will get battered. I'm so surprised. Like, what?
You know what? I'm here for it.
It's going to be a tough game. Might be 1-0, to be fair. I'm going to go 1-0.
How are you less confident than me?
I'm never confident, you know. It's so annoying. I feel like the United game just rattled me.
Yeah, fair play. I don't blame you for that, because both teams didn't really play excellently. I can see why you thought United were there for the taking, but I expect you to get a result against Everton.
Do you know what?
Everton have been poor.
I'm going 3-1 Arsenal. I think Everton will score. I'm going 3-1 Arsenal.
Could be a goal.
3-1. What do you mean a goal?
What, for Everton?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it could be a goal for Everton, but like,
Arsenal.
I think you guys should win regardless. I'd be very shocked if you guys didn't.
Someone saying, sorry, I cannot pronounce your name, sorry, but he's saying Benitez is better than Arteta. Wow. Everton won't win. They're just weak at the moment. Oh, there's a lot of predictions coming in. There's also, of course...
It might be a fact, to be fair.
What's that?
Benitez is a good manager.
Yeah,
I just think he's in the wrong team, and you can't really
What's the right team for him?
Just a team that isn't as
Not
destroyed
Everton.
from top to bottom. Like, there's problems with the board, the fan base, the players, the motivation isn't there. And then you add to the fact that you've got one of Liverpool's best managers playing for Everton at this point in time.
Yeah.
Like, it's toxic from top to bottom. But even when he was at Newcastle, they all loved him. And he was still getting results despite limited funds. So if we are going to do Benitez over Arteta, like, they might be spitting still.
Anyway, it is time to get into Team of the Week. And Arsenal haven't even played yet. And I've still put Ramsdale in goal. No, I'm joking. I haven't. Gosh, Ramsdale, don't let me down tonight. Do you remember your team? If not, it is going to be coming up on the screen very shortly. We've both put our teams of the weeks. I would love to know who you guys are putting your team of the weeks for last week's games and all the games we just discussed today. You know, you can head over to the Don Robbie app, Don Robbie Extra, and put in the Team Week Selector, and you can just put them into their positions, select your formations, and share your team of the week with us. Shall I start with mine?
Go for it.
I can't remember what it is, to be fair.
No, I've got
a lot of people say
anyway.
Martinez. Good shout.
Martinez was a good shout. How did I forget Martinez?
Oh, well done.
Yeah, a few decent spots. I went for Ederson personally.
Okay, so here is my team of the week, I believe this is. So I put Ederson in goal. I went for Sanchez. Oh, God, Tottenham got a 3-0 win, you know. Konza, Lascelles, Dalot. Midfield of Bowen, Silva, and Fred Silva, of course. I was meant to put Raheem Sterling in there. My bad, Raheem. Callum Wilson up front with Origi and Salah. That is my team of the week. What do you think of it?
A lot of solid names in there. I mean, I think a lot of them's also been... It's the same thing for you and me both. I think we've just gone for players that have been in strong teams that have played well. I think there's a few similarities with you and mine, but I've gone for a few controversial picks as well.
Let's see your one. Controversial?
Yeah.
Who's controversial in mine?
No, I went for a few controversial ones. I went for Ederson in goal. Back three of Dalot, Sanchez, and I had to put Christensen in because he was our only good centre-back from the game on Saturday.
You lost.
Cry more if you lot hate about it.
You lost.
He played well. It's individual performances, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
Jared Bowen I put at the right because he ripped our team apart yesterday, with Bernardo Silva as well because he tore Watford apart. Fred was, I think, Manchester United's best player, so I went for Fred in midfield with Raheem Sterling on the left. And I went for a front three of Origi, Wilson and Mason Mount.
Mason Mount? He lost.
One of our best attackers. Also, he has the minerals and everything, so yeah.
You are one of a kind, do you know that?
Hey, people are going to complain in the comment section, but it is what it is.
And Christensen made team of the week after they lost.
They went and made my team of the week.
Fair enough, yeah, it is your team of the week. And I put mine, and someone has mentioned that we didn't put no Matip, no Van Dijk, no Thiago. Please, you can also make your own team of the week on the app. I would love to hear yours. Vanessa says, where's Oliver Skip? Yeah, he did have a decent game, didn't he?
Yeah, I heard a lot of Tottenham fans were talking about how good he played, but I didn't see enough of the Spurs-Norwich match. It didn't seem like the most appealing game, so
sorry.
It is what it is.
Sorry, guys. I mean, if you literally watch every single game this week, I'm sure that's a Tottenham fan that said that, because if you watch every single game that week, would you have still put Oliver Skip in there? Let me know.
Over Fred and Silva in midfield now.
Over Silva?
Nah, no chance.
I don't know. Over Jared Bowen?
Like, you can have it for your agenda, innit? Like, I literally put 2 Chelsea players in and we lost, so do what you want to do, innit?
I just wanted some more. Oliver Skip, that's what he said.
No, I can't be honest.
Right, of course, there's Champions League games coming up this week too. We've got Man City taking on Leipzig away. Prediction for that?
City, Leipzig. Leipzig have been poor in the Champions League this season,
City
to be honest.
will take them apart.
Yeah,
the way they dissected PSG, yeah, they're gonna...
There'll be another high-scoring game, though, so I'd go 4-2 City, maybe.
I'm going to go 2-0 City.
Yeah, I think regardless, City win it, but I think Leipzig will give it a fight.
And that's tomorrow at 5:45. You got Zenit v Chelsea on the 8th, on Wednesday at 5:45. I'm going to go Zenit 1-0, and I'm joking. I think it will be 2-1 Chelsea.
Zenit was really hard for us when we played them the first time, and I'm not even going to try and underestimate them, especially the fact that I think we make rotations with all the injuries that we've had and the fact that we've already qualified.
Yeah. 1-0 Zenit then.
I'm going to go 1-0 Chelsea. I think it's going to be another tight one, but I think we just scrape it.
Okay. Man United v Young Boys. I feel like Man United played Young Boys quite a few times in recent years. They played them last
I'm just remembering the last time they played.
Yeah. Wednesday, 8 p.m, Man United Young Boys. I'm going to go Man United 2-0.
I was going to say the same thing, 2-0 United, just run through them and move on.
Bayern Barcelona also on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Bayern 4, Barcelona 1.
Just put them in a pack and send them to Thursday nights.
And of course, Milan Liverpool will be live on Don Robbie for the watch along tomorrow at 8 p.m. Oh, I don't know how to call this game. Milan 1, Liverpool 2, maybe? See how I've backed all the English teams here. Milan 1, Liverpool 2.
I might go for a Milan win, only because Liverpool have already qualified, they're already group winners, and I expect a bit more rotation. And AC Milan is still
even with the rotation, what, Minamino up front, he'll score. Origi, he might score.
No, I expect them to still get goals, but I think it's more motivation as well. And I think AC Milan, because it's very tight for the bottom three of the table.
Sorry, I'm just going through the comments. Oh, it's gone now. 7-1 to Bayern, I'm seeing. Barcelona resting. Oh no!
You know what?
No.
You know what the thing is they're capable of it.
Yeah,
too.
of course. Remember the final? Was it 8-2 or something ridiculous like that?
They could easily pan Barcelona again, and I'm all for it personally. Please do it.
Oh.
But on the Liverpool game, I think because AC Milan need the win so much more than Liverpool, I kind of think it's what sees them through.
Yeah.
Because I think it's 1 point separating second and fourth. So 2-1. I'll go 2-1 Milan.
Ooh, interesting.
Hopefully Giroud scores.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll find out tomorrow and, of course, on Wednesday. Thank you to everyone that tuned into the weekend roundup with myself, Pippa and Lewis, of course. It's been a pleasure. Don't forget to tune in to the live watch-along Milan, Liverpool. And, of course, there will be some more content coming out this week. And we'll see you on the next one.